Namaskar friends, the book for today is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. It's a wonderful book. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is a classic science fiction adventure novel written in 1870, way back in 1870 by a French writer Jules Verne. The novel was first translated into English in the year 1873 by Reverend Louis Page Mercier. The book was highly acclaimed when it was released, and it still remains so. It is regarded as one of the premier adventure novels and one of Verne's greatest works, along with Around the World in 80 Days and Journey to the Center of the Earth. In this book, the description and detailing of Nemo's ship, the Nautilus, is considered to be much ahead of its time, as it accurately describes many features of a modern submarine. So that's the kind of imagination you'll find in this particular book, which at that time of writing this book was, all those ships were very primitive, and now you can imagine it's more than 150 years old, this particular narration, but it's still par excellence. The title 20,000 Leagues refers to the distance traveled while under the sea. 20,000 leagues, or you could say 80,000 kilometers, is nearly twice the circumference of the Earth. The greatest depth mentioned in the book is 4 leagues. The book uses metric leagues, which are 4 kilometers each. During the year 1866, ships of several nations spot a mysterious sea monster, which some suggest to be a giant narwhal. Narwhal is a medium-sized whale that possesses a large tusks from a protruding canine tooth. The United States government assembles an expedition to find out what is this mysterious sea monster. So the government assembles an expedition in New York City to find out and even to destroy this particular monster. In this particular expedition, Professor Pierre-Jules, a French marine biologist and narrator of the story, who happens to be in New York at the time, receives a last-minute invitation to join the expedition, which he accepts. Canadian whaler and master harpoonist Ned Land and Aronnax's faithful servant Council are also brought aboard for this particular expedition. So now the expedition starts. It's very interesting. The expedition departs from the 34th Street Pier in Manhattan aboard the United States Navy frigate Abraham Lincoln and travels south around Cape Horn into the Pacific Ocean. After a long search, the ship finds the monster and then attacks the beast, which damages the ship's rudder. The 3 protagonists are then hurled into the water when they get hold of the hideout of the creature, which they find, to their utter surprise, to be a submarine way far ahead of its era. So what they thought to be a monster turns out to be a submarine. They are forced to wait on the back of the submarine boat until morning, when they are captured and brought inside the vehicle, where they meet its enigmatic creator and commander, Captain Nemo. The rest of the story follows with the adventures of the protagonists aboard the creature, the submarine, the Nautilus, which was built in secrecy and now roams the seas, free from any land-based government. Captain Nemo's motivation is implied to be both a scientific thirst for knowledge and a desire for revenge upon an self-imposed exile from the civilization. Nemo explains that his submarine is electrically powered and can perform advanced marine biology research. He also tells his new passengers that although he appreciates conversing with such an expert as Aronnax, maintaining the secret of his existence requires never letting them leave. So now Aronnax and company are stuck for life. Aronnax and council are enthralled by the undersea adventures, but Ned Land, that harpoonist, can only think of an escape. They visit many places under the ocean, some real and some fictional. The travelers witness the real corals of the Red Sea, the wrecks of the Battle of Vigo Bay, the Antarctic ice shelves, the transatlantic telegraph cable, and the legendary submerged land of Atlantis. The travelers also use diving suits to hunt sharks and other marine life with air guns and have an underwater funeral for a crew member who died when an accident occurred under mysterious conditions inside the Nautilus. When Nautilus returns to the Atlantic Ocean, a package of octopus attack the vessel and kill a crew member. Throughout the story, Captain Nemo is suggested to have exiled himself from the world after an encounter with the forces that occupied his country that had devastating effects on his family. Not long after the incident of the octopus, Nemo suddenly changes his behavior towards Aronnax, avoiding him. Aronnax no longer feels the same and begins to sympathize with Ned Land, that harpoonist. Near the end of the book, the Nautilus is attacked by a warship of some nation that had made Nemo suffer earlier. Filled with hatred and revenge, Nemo ignores Aronnax's pleas for mercy. Nemo, nicknamed Angel of Hatred by Aronnax, destroys the ship, ramming it just below the waterline and consequently sinking it into the bottom of the sea, much to Aronnax's horror as he watches the ship plunge into the abyss. Nemo kneels before the pictures of his wife and children and is plunged into deep depression and grief after his encounter. For several days after this, the situation of protagonists keeps changing. No one seems to be on board any longer, and the Nautilus moves about randomly. Ned Land is even more depressed. Council fears for Ned's life. And Aronnax, horrified at what Nemo had done to the ship, can no longer stand the situation either. One evening, Ned Land announces an opportunity to escape. Although Aronnax wants to leave Nemo, whom he now holds in horror, he still wishes to see him one last time, but he knows that Nemo would never let him escape, so he avoids that particular meeting. Before the escape, however, he sees him one last time, although secretly, and hears him uttering, "Almighty God, enough, enough." Aronnax immediately goes to his companions and they are ready to escape. But while they loosen the boat, they discover that the Nautilus has wandered into a whirlpool, more commonly known as the maelstrom. They finally manage to escape and find a refuge on a nearby island off the coast of Norway. But the fate of Nautilus is unknown. So the book ends with that. but it's when you go through this book, it's beautiful. It's out of the world. Friends, it's an excellent book to read. Even ebook is available quite cheap, so pick it up, I suggest. The description and detailing, especially done 150 years back, is par excellent. Excellent. Must say this author was a genius. Friends, novels are all about imagination, and I really salute his imagination. I would give this novel 8 out of 10. So that's all I have for today. Goodbye and see you soon.